Recording in progress. You know, on Zoom now, if you're, well, everybody's that's on Zoom. Good morning, Michael, knows this for a fact because you're getting a notice that says this is being recorded and you have to hit OK. I guess some people will maybe secretly recording meetings. A little stealth.
But you can tell when it's being recorded, even on the other end.
It says recording, but I guess they needed more notice than that. All right, happy Friday, everybody. Let's get started. I am going to be in two different books today. First of all, Always the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. It's our playbook. And secondly, I'm going to get back into The Traveler's Gift. If you're new to Survive to Thrive, we talk about this book a lot. I've read this book more than 40 times. Not an exaggeration. The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. Yeah, so the first time I read this book was in 2002. What was that, 19 years ago? And I've read it at least twice a year, every year since. It's one of the first books I pick up when life happens. You know, Andy says that you're either in adversity, headed for adversity, or coming out of adversity. It's part of being with us on this planet, right? So if you're in a really good place right now, cool. Adversity is coming. Get ready for it. Now, he also says that adversity is preparation for greatness. So when adversity happens, it's not why me. That's what most people say. My response to that would be, why not me, right? When Lacey at the age of 13 was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, trust me, there was a lot of why me going on, right? And it's adversity. Now, one of the other things I know is somebody, either in this room or on this call, is going through one of the worst times of their life. Just part of being on this planet. Now, if that's you, adversity is preparation for greatness. Okay, so I am going to start with a page that I can't remember. So hold on one second. Fascinating. I've got two different journals and I don't know which one I want to look at. It's this one. There we go. All right, we're on page 37, natural ability and achievement ceilings. Achievement ceiling simply means that you're going to hit a ceiling at some point in your career. And in order to break through that ceiling, you have to go from doing what's natural to being purposeful. It's called E to P. E is entrepreneurial, what you do naturally. P is obviously purposeful. Another way of saying that would be go from easy, what comes easy to you, bless you, Michelle, to what doesn't come easy. Moving from comfortable to uncomfortable. Going to the gym and working out, not comfortable. However, leads to growth. Did you say it is, Ryan? Yeah. Yeah, well, you're addicted to it. Shut up. Nobody likes a bragger. All right, so here's what Gary has to say on page 36. Ryan, I love you. People tend to predict success based largely on a person's natural abilities. When I first sat down and spoke with you, Michelle, I thought this is a person who has a lot of natural ability. She has a ceiling. Her natural ceiling is high. She's going to be able to wing it and still be successful. However, there's going to be a point where she's going to hit a ceiling. And in order to break through that ceiling, she's going to have to understand the law of E to P. The law of going from natural ability to breaking through achievement ceilings. We all do, right, Paige? All right. This can be problematic no matter where you see yourself in the spectrum. Lots of natural ability can lead to overconfidence. Likewise, lack of natural ability contributes to low confidence. Can anybody relate to that? Yes? You don't have to raise your hand, it's okay. So much so that many never even attempt tasks that appear to be outside the realm of their natural abilities. That's sad. That's sad, Clarissa, that I would not even attempt something because I see myself as someone who lacks ability. What if the one thing that I was going to attempt was going to change the world? What if God was waiting for someone just like me to come along and do that? And yet I didn't. Therefore, it doesn't exist. You know, in The Traveler's Gift, again, Angie Andrews also talks about this place that David Ponder, the main character in the book, visits on his journey. Matter of fact, it's the last location, and it's a warehouse in heaven. And I don't want to give away the book, although if you've been on my Survive to Thrive call, you've heard me talk about this. So, oh well, here goes, giving it away. Read it anyways. In this warehouse, everything that never was exists. Everything that was supposed to be but never was exists. So, for example, the cure to cancer. There's a scientific formula that cures someone from being paralyzed. There's a cure for blindness. There's all these incredible inventions that exist in this warehouse but don't exist here. Because the person who was supposed to discover that formula, that machine, that invention, that creation, there's pictures, thousands and thousands and thousands of pictures of children who were supposed to be born but weren't. Because the person who was supposed to bring those things into existence quit right before they did it. Now that's kind of scary to me, because what if some place like that really exists? What if there was one person in the history of mankind that was supposed to discover the cure for cancer, and that person gave up right before they did? Therefore, there's never a cure for cancer. Just what if? Something to think about next time you feel like giving up. Don't give up. You might be that person. And then again, you might think, well, I'm pretty, it's who am I? Who am I to change the world? Well, if you study the butterfly effect, every single one of us has the opportunity to change the world every day with one small action. All right, that was a bunny trail. The truth about ability is that it is neither set nor predetermined. Now, carrying over to page 38, Gary goes on to say, natural ability can take us only so far. No matter how gifted we may be, each of us will eventually hit our own ceiling of achievement. When I hit that ceiling of achievement, how will I break through? By starting with models, you can push your ceiling higher and eventually break through them. So if I understand the model of leads, listings, leverage, and I start with that model, and I understand that my number one job every day is lead generation, and I get it, and I just plug and play, and I do 3 hours of lead generation every day. I talk to 20 people, not 19, not 18, not 17. I have 20 real estate conversations. I look to get an appointment or a referral or add somebody new to my database with every single one of those conversations. This is the foundational model of building a successful real estate business, and I get it. So I start with that model. My ceiling is going to be much higher. However, I'm still going to hit ceilings. As a team leader, I've hit many, many ceilings. Many. And sometimes we break through quickly. Sometimes it takes a lot of work, a lot of pain, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I've been hitting a ceiling that I haven't broke through since 2019. It's 2 years. You know, my head is getting sore because I'm hitting that ceiling over and over again. And what happens when you hit that ceiling over and over again? You start to give up. Resignation. You start to look for greener pastures. But eventually, you're going to break through as long as you don't give up. By the way, what happens before breakthroughs? Breakdowns. We're in Bold a couple of years ago, and Tara Carter, who's a rock star agent in the office, this is 5 years ago. Day one, she's having a major breakdown. I'm sharing this on Facebook Live. Sorry, Tara Carter. She's having a major breakdown. She comes to me and she's sharing with me the breakdown that she's experiencing. And I'm like, cool, you're having a breakdown. She's like, what do you mean, cool? I'm like, well, you know what happens next? She goes, no, what happens? Breakthrough. You are getting ready to have a breakthrough. That's a big deal. All right. But even great models will have limitations. So eventually you will hit a new ceiling. This is when I encourage creativity. The bigger the model, the further you can write it before hitting the ceiling. The foundational models of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent are founded on the 3 cornerstones of leads, listings, and leverage. Okay. Leads, listings, and leverage. I mean, how much simpler can it get than that? Now, I'm reading this morning, and my morning routine that I talked about yesterday. And I walked over to my bookshelf at home and I just reached for a book in the dark, thinking I'm going to read whatever book I grab. Every single book on that bookshelf I've read at least once, most of them twice and 3 times. There's hundreds. And I grabbed The Traveler's Gift. I'm like, seriously? I'm going to grab the one book that I've read more than anything else. Okay, I'll read it. And here's the message right to the page. Now, this is me. This is not from Andy Andrews. This is just my thoughts from what I read. To be on a path to anything big takes courage. To join Keller Williams Realty, I just sank. That's not good. There we go. That's better. To join Keller Williams Realty takes courage. Are there other real estate companies that offer higher splits and lower fees? Say yes. Yes. And yet, you're here. To stay at Keller Williams Realty takes courage. Diane, do you get emails and phone calls from other real estate companies recruiting you to those companies?
Yeah.
Yeah, almost every day, right? Yeah. And greener pastures. When life gets hard, we look for detours. We look for the exit ramp. We look for an easier way. It takes courage to keep going. It takes courage to stay here. It takes faith to follow your big dream. Remember, we talked yesterday about the dream giver, and it takes faith to follow your big dream. But how do you get started? How do you keep going when faced with the possibility of failure? Not look for an easy way out. How do you stay on the journey with a destination that is assured and ignore the detours that lead to the promise of greener pastures? The answer is passion. One word, passion. Passion is a product of the heart. Passion is what helps you when you have a great dream. Passion breeds conviction, and it turns mediocrity into excellence. Your passion will motivate others to join you in the pursuit of your dream. You're changing the world. With passion, you will overcome insurmountable obstacles. You will become unstoppable. Okay, talk to me. What'd you hear? What are your thoughts? Zoom, just take yourself off mute. There's not that many of you, and just start talking. This is the interruption rule, which means the person who interrupts rules.
John, I've got a couple thoughts.
Yep.
When we have these calls with you, whether it's, coaching and training, and I think a lot of us understand it, a lot of it is just you kind of talking us through your difficulties and allowing us to learn from what you're going through. Really strong aha. And the second thing is, I literally was having this E to P conversation about natural ability and models with somebody just yesterday, someone who's got a lot of natural ability, and talking to him about that ceiling. And I asked them, well, how do we break through that ceiling? Well, that's when we add systems and models and coaching. So I literally had this conversation yesterday with them. So that's it. That's all I got for the moment.
Nice job, Michael, and good aha on me sharing my journey. Absolutely. Sometimes my journey sucks, and I'm just going to tell you guys about it, and you can learn from me. If you're in pain, cool. Use that pain. Yeah, Paige.
So when we have hit the ceiling of our natural ability and our tendency is to look for another way, greener pastures, but the lesson today, I think, is to actually realize that that ceiling of achievement isn't the end. It's actually possible to break through if we believe it and we understand and have faith that the systems, models, and coaching can actually help us break through, that we don't need to just think, okay, this is the end, and not even imagine going past, but just looking for some easier way.
Beautifully said. There is no end. There is never a point that you're going to get to where you can't grow. You're on a journey with no destination. By the way, that's a good thing, because if there was a destination, Michelle, what would you do when you get there? I mean, the top, right? One of my favorite books by Zig Ziglar is The Top. 2 words, The Top, and his follow-up to that book, Over the Top. If there really was the top, what would you do when you got there? There's no going forward. There's only going backward. So you're driving your car, you're in forward, you're in reverse, or you're in neutral, you're parked. But this life journey does not have a neutral, it does not have a park. There's only 2 gears, forward and reverse. So when you hit, if there really was a top, the only thing you could do is put the car in reverse and go back. I mean, think about that for a moment, because if there was a neutral, we'd reach the greatest point in our life and we would just stay there forever, right? And that's not possible, because we're either growing or we're dying. All right, you guys get really quiet like this, it freaks me out. Give me a couple other ahas. We don't. Otherwise, we're going to sign off early today because that's all I've got.
A couple of things, ability to either set and predetermine.
Hmm.
And I go back to MREA is the playbook.
Hmm.
Read it and do it. It's simple. Don't make it complex because it doesn't need to be.
Well,
Success is simple.
success is simple. It's on the wall. You know, Clarissa, I'm thinking about you as we're having this discussion. You're an educator, right? How many years were you an educator? 32
Well,
years.
More than that, but 32 years. count.
We'll stick with 32. Think about what you just said to me. Ability is neither set nor predetermined. And how many children did you have the opportunity to teach over those years who got to a point in their life at a very young age and gave up? Thousands and thousands and thousands. That's her answer for everybody on Zoom, because I know you can't hear her. And that just breaks my heart.
But we do it too. We set limits.
All the
We put
time.
limits.
I see it happen every time. And you know, you guys are going to get sick of me saying this, but I don't care. Every time an agent decides to take the easy way out and stops asking great questions like, how can I double my business? And starts asking really bad questions like, how can I keep a little bit more of my commission? They're giving up. They're settling for mediocrity. They're going to the land of mediocrity. Stop it. YouTube the video from Bob Newhart. Stop it. It's hilarious. Just watch that video. You'll love it. Stop it.
After Bobby Mark.
Yeah, it's a great video. You'll love it. All right. Lauren, your hand is up. Talk to me.
You're on.
Yes, it's so easy to get discouraged and give up, but when you have the big dream in mind, I mean, that's like the fuel to keep on going, even though you learn through failure, which is something that I'm learning to accept. It's very, very hard because nobody likes to fail, but it's about you getting back up and what the end goal, which is the big dream.
Love it. Love it. Bonnie Jean Sinclair was a downhill skier in the Paralympics. Paralympics is the Olympics for anybody with a handicap, right? And Bonnie is an amputee. She has one leg, and she is in a competition in the downhill, and I guess it's just the downhill ski race, right? The big one. And she's only have one person that she's competing against, and the person she's competing against falls. Bonnie's with her friends, and she says, I'm going to win because I'm not going to fall. So it's her turn, and she's skiing down the hill, and she falls. She gets up, she finishes the race, and she finishes in second place. And her friends are trying to console her, and they're saying, you know, it's okay, you know, you did your best. The other girl is just a better skier. And Bonnie's response was, no, she just got up faster. What's the cost of disappointment? When you fall down and it takes you too long to get up, or when you have a failure, how long does it take you to get over that failure? What's the cost of that disappointment?
Time, opportunity.
Time, opportunity, money.
Mhm.
If it takes you out of your activities and you stop making calls because you just paralyzed in disappointment, fear, and failure, and you miss 1 day of lead generation and you don't make 20 calls, how many listing appointments did you say no to because you lost 1 day of lead generation? Now, I've been in this business for 20 years and I've worked with and coached hundreds and hundreds of real estate agents. And I've seen real estate agents take weeks to get over a failure. My friend hired another real estate agent. I just can't believe my best friend hired a real estate agent and it's going to take me 2 weeks to get over this disappointment. Well, how much did that cost you? All right, let's see. Anybody else have their hand up? No, I've got 8:20, 9:29, time to get to work. Let's work. 20 conversations, not 19, not 18, not 17 conversations, because when you have 17 conversations, you don't have the 18th conversation, which could have been $1 million listing that you didn't get. And the saddest part is you don't even know that you didn't get the listing because you didn't have the conversation. Make care calls, not sale calls. Always lead with gratitude. Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate you. Always focus every single conversation on either getting an appointment, getting a referral, or adding somebody new to your database. Find somebody today that's thinking of selling their home, whether it's a week from now, 30 days from now, 6 months from now, or a year from now, doesn't matter, because a year from now, you're going to need listings. Get face-to-face with somebody today that's thinking of selling their home, and then follow up forever. You follow up forever because you reject rejection, and no is not a word that lives in your vocabulary. No simply means not yet. And when you follow up forever, people will make new decisions based on new information. Because remember, people will never change their mind, but what they will do is make a new decision based on new information. And when you're following up, you're creating emotional proximity. So that new decision is going to be to hire you. Make it a great day, everybody. All right, everybody in Zoom world, make it a great weekend. Don't forget to have some color hoop time. Unplug.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Bye.